Mikel Arteta has just dropped a big transfer hint. It's similar, in fact, to the one we had a few weeks ago. You remember when we had the Viktor Gyökeres saga and Mikel Arteta come out and said he's not part of the group yet, and then we signed Viktor Gyökeres. I see similarities to the comments he made in his latest press conference, and I want to speak to you guys about it because it kind of come across to me like Arsenal aren't finished in this transfer window. So we're going to speak about that amongst other things in this video. Before we get into it though, you know the drill. My name is Jed, and if you can help me out very quickly by just hitting like and subscribe on this video. So, I want to speak about Mikel Arteta's comments. And look, there does need to be a little bit of reading between the lines when it comes to these comments. But I think the fact that Mikel Arteta is willing to talk about adding players to this squad, or maybe hinting that Arsenal's transfer business isn't quite done yet, is massive. I think it could be beneficial to this Arsenal team, and Mikel Arteta usually doesn't act this way. He usually comes out with the usual comments. We've heard it in previous seasons. I'm very happy with the squad we've got. I'm happy to work with the players we've got, and that's all I can do. But this time he said something slightly different that I picked up on. But Arsenal are playing Man United today, and if you haven't already, let me know your score predictions if you want to shout out in the match breakdown video after the game, because if you get it right, I will shout you out. Let's speak about these comments. Because in his press conference, he was asked, look, other teams have improved more than Arsenal. What's your thoughts on that? And he said, look, we've done well so far, but there are still some days to go. And I think you could look at that and say, this is a manager who still wants more signings. Like I said, there does need to be a little bit of reading between the lines, because Mikel Arteta usually does come out and say, I'm happy with my team. But he's still saying, I'm not done. We've done well so far, but there are still some days to go. And we did hear similar comments a few weeks ago with Viktor Gyökeres when he said, look, this deal isn't done yet, so I'm not going to speak about it. So I think Mikel Arteta will be adding another player to this team. And then you kind of left with a question, right, what position are we going to strengthen? To me, I think Arteta will strengthen that left wing position. We're hearing rumours of Leandro Trossard leaving Arsenal, and I think that's the area of the pitch where Arsenal are going to improve. I think some people would like to see the central attacking midfield positions, or the 8 positions, improved, but we've got players in those positions that have to play minutes this season. I'll get straight into it. So if you improve those central areas, who do you have playing in those two? You've got Rice and Odegaard. In Rice's backup, you got Mikel Merino, and in Odegaard's backup, you've probably got Ethan Nwaneri. So those are 2 players already, and on that left wing position, you've only got Martinelli and Trossard. So if we're looking to sell Trossard, I think that's when Mikel Arteta will pull the trigger and bring in another left winger. But then you've got the question, who do we bring in? Now, we've had reports of us signing Eze. It looks like Eze is going to go to Tottenham. This is a player loads of people wanted because he does offer that versatility. He can play left wing, he can play centrally, and it's a player that I've had conversations with so many people on this channel, and it seems like everybody admires Eze. Everybody knows he's a good player. It doesn't look like that one's going to happen. Rodrigo is the next one. Is Mikel Arteta waiting for the opportunity to pull the trigger on Rodrigo? That is a story that is out there that's building momentum, but at the same time, it looks like Man City is the destination for Rodrigo. That doesn't mean Arsenal have no chance in signing this player, by the way. It just means that you're battling with Man City. Will Arsenal win that battle? Again, I guess it's a 50-50. So what else is out there on the market? We've been linked with Lookman. Apparently that deal's not going to happen. So I'm looking at that left wing and I'm saying, who is out there? Could this be a Rafael Leao? That's a player that most people would probably go for and say, right, I want an out-and-out left winger. Let's go and get Rafael Leao. Look, if Rafael Leao is available, of course you go and get him. But we need to be realistic. Is this a player we can actually go out there and get with only 2 or 3 weeks left on the window? If the answer is yes, please go out there and get him, because he could transform that whole left side for Arsenal. I want to know people's thoughts on Mikel Arteta's comments. Did you read it in a similar way to me, or is this Mikel Arteta just deflecting because he was asked about other teams improving more than Arsenal? Or did you read it the same way as me and think, right, no, look, this is good from Arteta because it signals to me that he wants to sign more players? And if it is that, who do we go out there and sign? Let me know. Premier League is underway. I've been watching games Friday, Saturday. It's Sunday today. Arsenal play today. We got the big one. And I saw some interesting results. Look, everybody knows I gave my predictions, and look, Man City are looking very, very good. If you remember, I said Arsenal are going to be battling Man City for the title this season. Now it's early days. Man City could still drop off. I don't think Liverpool look brilliant. I don't think Wirtz has kicked into gear. But Man City do look good. Like, it's almost like just because Man City dipped for one season, they've been brilliant for the previous 10 seasons, but they dipped for one season. All of a sudden, they're out of everyone's mind. All of a sudden, Liverpool are a better team than Man City. And I'm not sure, or I'm not fully convinced that that's true. Let's not forget about Pep Guardiola. They've still got Haaland. They've still got Doku. They've still got, well, they've introduced players like Reinders. They got Shirky. I think they have a very, very good team. The only part of that Man City team that I look at and think, right, you're slightly vulnerable, and that is in defence. Because the rest of their team looks very, very good. So don't expect Man City to be as bad as they was last season. This Man City is a team that will definitely be fighting for the title at the end of the season. And I want to know everyone's thoughts on it. Is it just Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, or can you see Chelsea joining that group of teams as well? Because we got Chelsea playing today. They've actually got a fairly difficult game. They're coming up against the Palace team that will be full of confidence. They've just beat Liverpool in the Cup. So will Eze be playing in that game, or will he be sitting out? If he's sitting out, then it's basically confirmed that he will be joining Tottenham. But I'm interested to see how these Chelsea players gel. Now, they've looked good in pre-season. They was obviously good at the back end of last season when they beat PSG. But Chelsea is a team I'll be looking at, because I think it is between four teams. This could be the strongest Premier League in a long time, because we could have a genuine four-horse race all the way till the end. I look at Chelsea's first team, I look at the strength in depth, and they got so many good players that they could push in the Cups, in the Premier League, all the way till the end of the season. We had Tottenham winning yesterday. Now, it was a decent win, but all I would say is let's not get carried away, Tottenham fans, because, you know, you've just beat a newly promoted team. 3-0. Okay, the team I was most impressed with is Sunderland. And if everyone remembers, again, when I gave my predictions, I said Sunderland will be the team that overperforms this season. I think the Xhaka effect is real. If you bring in a leader like Xhaka, who's now a winner, you've brought in a captain, and there was kind of people saying, oh, I can't believe they've brought in Xhaka and give him the captaincy. And I'm kind of like, you do understand who Xhaka is and what kind of pedigree this player's coming with, right? You've brought in the best leader you could possibly bring, and now you're complaining about him being the leader. Of course he's going to be the captain. Xhaka is the perfect captain in the Premier League, and a newly promoted team like Sunderland should be honoured to have a player like Xhaka. That is a brilliant bit of business, and Sunderland look great. West Ham look rubbish, which is brilliant, but that was a brilliant win from Sunderland, and this is a team I will continue to watch, because I don't know about you guys, but when there is like an old player that you still have a bit of affinity for, you still have a bit of affection, or you appreciate watching that player or the attributes they have or the leader they are, I don't know, it just makes games more enjoyable when you're watching, say, a newly promoted Premier League team and they have a player like Xhaka, who I often enjoyed watching. Liverpool winning 4-2 against Bournemouth, I don't think it was the most convincing win in the world. I've let my feelings be known about Liverpool. I've said I don't think they're going to be able to cope with it this season. I don't think they're as strong as people think they are. And I think there were glimpses in that game. Again, all of this is with me bearing in mind that this is only the first game of the season. I'm not getting ahead of myself. But we've now seen a lot of these teams in their first fixture. So all we can go on is what we saw. And with Liverpool, again, I think they are a bit suspect. I think defensively, Liverpool fans should be worried. Now, they're being linked to Mark Gahey, and maybe that deal gets done. But I'm even looking at Van Dijk. And I'm looking like this is a player who's rated so highly. And I rate Van Dijk so highly. But I think it's not the player he used to be. I think he backs off way too much, and he allows you to have an opportunity because he's scared, or not scared, but hesitant to be dribbled past, or maybe look a bit of a fool because he's been so strong in previous seasons. It's like he doesn't really want to make that challenge. He backs off, and at the minute it seems like he's backing off too much. So I think this Liverpool team can be got at. I think if they come up against a confident attack. Now look, Semenyo ripped them to pieces, and he was kind of a one-man band. If they come up against even a Tottenham or a Chelsea or a Man City and Arsenal, it will be very interesting to see what happens. Arsenal are playing Liverpool in a couple of weeks, and I think we're playing them at a good time. If Arsenal play today and their attack gels like I think it can, then I think Liverpool are in trouble. It's going to be a brilliant game. I'm going around a family friend of mine who's a Liverpool fan, so that will be interesting because, look, we don't usually have the greatest luck at Anfield, but that would be a game I would be going into full of confidence. If Arsenal can get out of the blocks today in a way that I know they can, then that makes for a very interesting fixture in a couple of times. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Do you take confidence in Mikel Arteta's comments, Or do you think this is Mikel Arteta just answering questions to the media in a way that doesn't bring maybe a bit of stick on himself? Let me know. What was your thoughts on most of these teams' match week 1 fixture? Did you think Man City were impressive? Do you think Liverpool struggled a bit? And what's your thoughts on Chelsea? Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.